Epps won a special election in Tennessee.
Yeah, but the race was much closer than the GOP would have liked. President Trump won the district by 22 points. Van Epps only won it by 9. Joining us now to talk more about this election and the upcoming midterms are Joe Caiazzo and Jeff Burton. Joe, a former state director for Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, and Jeff is the former chief of staff for Republican leadership. Jeff, we're going to start with you. What do you make of the results in Tennessee? Is it a flashing warning sign for Republicans, or is this just the case of a special election, low voter turnout? We still won. We still have the seat for Republicans.
Yeah, you're right with the second point there. Special elections are called special for a reason. It's because it's a snapshot in time. It's right after Thanksgiving. It's somewhat low turnout. It's people not paying attention to politics. And yes, there's no doubt that the Democratic base is more excited right now, but that's normal. Come the turn of the year and the implementation of Trump's policies, the Republicans are going to start honing their message, and we're going to see a much different message from Republicans, and we're going to see a lot more heading into next year. But this election is nothing more than a snapshot in time and means nothing heading into the midterms.
Joe, Democrats are obviously eyeing a retakeover of the House. How do they make that happen?
Look, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to slightly push back on my co-panelist here for the sole reason that the turnout in this most recent race on Tuesday matched that turnout nearly by about 1,000 votes difference of it matched the 2018 turnout. And if we see parallel turnout like that across the country, Democrats are going to be in good shape. I do think it's important to point out, basically 70% of the country think we're on the wrong track. Almost 60% think that Donald Trump is doing a bad job. I think there's a huge opportunity here for Democrats to really hone in on economic populism, talk about affordability, offer something more to voters other than an anti-Trump, because they already know that Trump has failed.
Jeff, when we look at the House Republican conference right now, we know that there have been some high-profile resignations. We know a lot of House Republicans are running for office elsewhere. It's already a slim margin. Do you think these retirements and any more potential retirements could ultimately maybe flip the scale so make things a little bit more difficult as we head into 2026?
There's always retirements in this type of situation when one party runs government. What you look at is what are the targeted seats. And in this case, almost every Republican other than 2 are in completely safe seats and have no effect on anything to do with the election, as many Democrats in targeted seats have resigned as well or going to retire. So as far as the open seats, it's a normal amount, but they're all going to be safe. And we're looking at primary battles versus general election battles when you look ahead into next year.
Joe, you mentioned the energy that many in the Democratic base might feel right now. Do you think that that is going to be lasting well into 2026 as we approach the midterms?
Certainly. Look, I think it's going to be the case for several reasons. First of which, every single day, Donald Trump and the Trump administration continues to push an agenda that's solely focused on enriching the millionaires and billionaires of this country, while millions of Americans across the country struggle to make ends meet. Donald Trump told us he was going to tackle affordability and inflation. He's done none of that. Life has actually gotten harder for people across this country, and it's reflective in the polls. Democrats are going to offer a clear, succinct message that's honed in on economic opportunity. And if you couple that together with this feeling that Donald Trump and congressional Republicans have failed the American people, I'm confident that, Democrats will be in a really strong place, even with the gerrymandering games that Republicans are playing in the country.
Jeff, we spoke earlier in our 6 o'clock hour about some frustrations within the GOP about selling the president's one big, beautiful bill. Do you think there's an issue with the messaging, or do you think there's an issue with voters just not really understanding what is in the bill?
I think it's both, actually. Republicans definitely need to sharpen their message, and that's what they're going to take this Christmas break coming up in a couple of weeks to do. And really, it'll turn the trigger on for campaign season. But when you look at Trump's policies and what my co-panelist Joe said, is that it takes time to turn around an economy that was going on the wrong track like we were. You look at what happened, and there's no comparison when you look at 2018. The tax bill in 2017 was passed in December. There wasn't enough time to message on it. You look at this time, there was a reason the Trump administration was so active in the first 6 months of this year, and it was to make sure that the economy is turning around, is going to make change, and we're talking about fundamental change here to how our economy operates and helping out the little guy. You look at the no taxes on tips, you look at reduced taxes on Social Security. That's going to be implemented, and people are going to see that when the calendar year turns. And that's something that didn't happen in 2018. So Republicans will have a much better message to share when you're looking ahead to next year.
Sticking with the economy, we have some new data showing how voters are feeling about the economy. Right now, that 12% of voters say that President Trump has not had a chance to fix the economy. 41% say Trump's had a chance but hasn't taken it, while 34% say Trump has had a chance and has taken it. Jeff, what do you make of the president's sort of blame Biden strategy? He has long said that he's inherited a bad economy from his predecessor. Is that striking a chord with voters?
It has been, but it's going to have to change really soon. And what the economy is going to have to turn around. There's no doubt the economy is getting better. It's moving forward, but it's moving forward at a smaller pace than anyone would like right now. But the plan has always been that you're looking ahead in the first quarter. Like I said, it's going to take time to turn around an economy like this. And that time, it's going to happen soon. And Republicans are honing their message on it and telling the good stories that are going to be out there. And that's what we're going to see after the new year.
Joe, we know that the Democratic Party as a whole has low favorability ratings out there among the electorate. I want to ask you, does this whole argument of who is the leader of the Democratic Party, is that going to matter in 2026 when there is not a presidential election being run and you are just voting for members of the House and some folks in the Senate?
No, it's certainly not going to matter. And here's why. Because Republicans are in control of both chambers of Congress and the White House. And the thing that's happened under their, during their leadership is that the cost of living has gone up. Nearly every single American paid more for Thanksgiving dinner last week than they have ever before. Countless Americans across the country are going to go and open their, their health insurance bills this month, and they're going to continue to rise. Look, people are worried. The cost of, unemployment is wobbly at best. Inflation continues to rise. Home foreclosures are up nearly 20% from where they were 1 year ago. I think this all falls squarely on the shoulders of the people who are in charge, and that is the Republican Party.
Jeff, I want to ask you, we got a heavy dose of Zohran Mamdani for months leading up to the New York City mayoral election. As we head into the midterms now, do you think Republicans are going to continue to focus on him and his sort of wing of the Democratic Party to drive home the message that they are the ones best able to lead the country forward? Or is there some danger in trying to paint with this broad brush, especially when you have a woman like Abigail Spanberger here in Virginia, who's more of a moderate and who won handily?
It's a little bit of both. Majorities, in my experience in 20 years in D.C. in the House and Senate flipping multiple times, majorities aren't won, they're lost. Republicans need to go out there, they need to sell their message, sell their successes of what they've done. But the fact still remains that the Democratic Party is rudderless. They don't have a leader, they don't have a message, and they have somebody, like you said, Mamdani in New York, that is going to be held up with these policies that are far outside the mainstream of what the American public want. And so, yes, that'll be a message in the campaign. What Democrats have done in D.C. will be a message. Biden will be a message, and the mess that we were left when we took over in January.
Joe Caiazzo, Jeff Burton, thank you so much for joining us.
Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.